Hello, my name is Sarah Stocking. I am part of Group C, and I will be discussing diversity and group conflict. One of the greatest sources of conflict is diversity, yet diversity also has great value. It can drive innovation, it improves problem solving, and it also increases cultural competence. Some of the sources of conflict are people's personalities. Some people are better at leadership, others are better at being subordinates. Some people are task oriented, others are relationally oriented. People's opinions are also a great source of conflict. Everybody has one, and most people feel that their opinions are better than others. People also have different learning styles. Some people learn better by participating and doing things. Other people learn by thinking about things. Some people learn by solitary study, and others like to try different things in order to learn. Another source of conflict are people's cultures. Different cultures have different values, beliefs, symbols, and rules that everybody is expected to adhere to. Racial and ethnic groups are also a source of conflict because we just fail to understand each other sometimes, and different races, even though that is a social construct, they have different ways of experiencing life, and sometimes it's really hard for us to step into somebody else's shoes that way because we don't walk through life that way. Gender is also another source of conflict. Different cultures have different gender roles. Some adhere more strictly to the masculine versus feminine roles that we traditionally think of as being part of society in general. But then there's that overlap where women do things that men do, and men do things that women do. And sometimes that's just not really acceptable in different parts of society. There's also that generational gap. Different generations think about things a lot differently than other generations do. And a lot of the gender roles kind of fall into line with generational differences. So as we're going on in the world today, we can see that a lot of those things are actually maybe melding together a little bit more, and as they should, because I feel that that's one of the greatest ways that we can increase our competence in all of these different sources of conflict. There are a couple different types of group. One is homogenous, and these are groups that are composed of people that are very similar, that think the same, dress the same, they might even look the same. It's kind of boring. And then there are heterogeneous groups, which are groups that are composed of different members that are different in a lot of different ways. These types of groups produce better outcome when it comes to thinking outside of the box, and also getting things done differently because of their different problem solving abilities. Everybody has something different that they bring to the group that actually works in the group's favor. Diversity-related barriers include ethnocentrism, and this is the belief that one culture is superior to another person's culture. Stereotypes and bias are also a great barrier. These are mental assumptions of what one group perceives another group to be, and that is essentially projected onto an individual, which is kind of unfair. Different groups have different interpretations of time. Some people may value getting up later in the morning and going to work later and working later. Others value getting up very early, going to work early, maybe getting off early, maybe not. I guess it just depends. Personal space is also another thing that differs amongst cultures. Some people may find it, comfortable to get really close to you, be right in your face, and that's perfectly acceptable. Some people aren't too comfortable with that. They have their own circle of comfort, and they want you to stay further away from them. Body language is also another diversity-related barrier. Some people are really animated, and they, use their hands to talk, and they, move in different ways to make their statement. Other people are much more reserved, and they might not be so comfortable with people that are a little bit more animated. But these are just differences, and they shouldn't be taken as threats, or where somebody's more professional or less professional. There are also translation limitations. One word in one culture might mean something completely different in another. Then there's also the simple fact that translation might not be very easy for some people. Somebody speaking English may only speak broken Spanish, Chinese, Japanese, whatever it is that you speak, you might not be fluent in, so it creates a barrier there. And microaggressions, this is something that is very present in our society. Although I don't think personally that it's something that is talked about too much. Examples of microaggressions are saying to somebody, "Where do you come from?" when they might look different than what you might think the typical American looks like, but really they were born here in America, but their ethnicity might be from somewhere else. That's basically saying you're not American, you're a foreigner, you don't belong here. Another one is, I don't see color, or there's only one race, the human race. And there again, where race is a social construct, race is still a big part of our society. And by saying those things, it basically denies people their racial and ethnic experiences. Suspect of criminality is another thing. You're walking in the store and you see somebody, that isn't like you, and so you clutch your purse. That's bad. That's a microaggression. Or following people around a store. That's another big no-no. Pathologize cultural values or communication styles is also a bit of a microaggression, where, say somebody is talking really loud, or they're very animated, you say, calm down, why do you have to act like that? Well, it's part of their culture, and it's basically forcing people to assimilate, when that's not what we want. We want our cultural differences to be a part of our group, to improve our group work. So overcoming diversity-related barriers is hard, but it's something that is essential in today's world, especially in today's workplace. It increases safe group climates. That's what we want. We want people to feel safe, like they can say what they want to say, because that is what leads to greater thinking and understanding, and better communication, more creativity. That's what we want. Mindful communication is really important. The use of fantasy, thinking outside of the box, taking yourself out of reality and putting yourself into a situation where basically everybody is in a different reality. It takes away a lot of the stress and tension of being in the moment and being in your own comfort zone. Symbolic convergence is important, and this means that through our communication, we understand each other better. Appreciating diversity is something that should be promoted, as well as the value of diversity in groups. Acknowledging our differences is really important. That's something that makes for that safe group atmosphere. This is a way to get people to willingly play their part, even adjust their behavior if they need to. If somebody calls you out for, saying something that isn't good, listen to them, listen to what they're saying. You don't have the perspective always to correct your own behavior. Integration is a large part of successful groups. Integrating each other's values, beliefs, comfort zones, things like that are essential to the success of the group. And all of this leads towards working towards cultural competence, which again is very important and essential to working in small groups, no matter where you are, but especially in the workplace. Thank you.